Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Spencer.
I'm Mike.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and today we're going to cover Gempire, Zarmund's Demands. Now, this is a Kickstarter preview. A friend of the show now, Paul Elpers, designed this, and we weren't friends when we started, but I think through the process of kind of playing his game and talking to him, and then he just became active in our Discord, and we hung out with him at some conventions and stuff. And we were excited about this game already. And then getting to know Paul just kind of ramped it up even more. Mike, you've spent the most time with this game. Why don't you give us a rundown on how it's played?
Paul provided this game for our preview, and it will be hitting Kickstarter on September 26th, so keep that in mind. And it also won the Ion Award, which is the largest board game design contest in the United States, which included hosts, judges like Ron Lockett. No
Ryan Lockett, yeah.
Ryan, yeah.
He's done a game or two that people might have heard of.
Done a couple games.
Even the art for him.
So yeah, the way this works is this is a simultaneous action selection based off of the roll of dice. At first, we have to choose our resources, though. So it's any combination of 5. And what we're choosing is from production or science. So I could have 5 production and 0 science, or 5 science and no production, or 3 and 2, however you'd like. Everybody chooses at the same time and then reveals. So then you gather up your stuff, okay? The first official turn of the game starts with one person rolling all of the resource dice, and then everybody gets to collectively choose from this stuff, okay? Or you could bid on one of the city cards that's out here. There are 3 to choose from. You have the A, B, and C card. If you wish to bid on one of those cards, you're just going to write your bid here. It can't be more than the production you have available. Your cap is 5, okay? Or you're going to collect this stuff. So the people that are not bidding on cards could take 3 science and 1 production right now, okay? Everybody secretly will then choose that stuff, and we will resolve that at the same time, okay? So I guess I just gave myself randomly 2 production here, didn't I?
Well done, sir.
It all gets resolved. Everybody flips it over simultaneously, okay? So the highest bidders will, of course, take the cards that they want. So let's just say that Tim was the highest bidder on this one.
Yeah, boy.
This is going to go into his tableau. He's going to immediately add those attributes to his city board there. So now he now has 2 gold and 4 culture, okay? If there was a tie, ties are broken by the science track.
Science!
So this is why the science matters. You may have not a lot of production, but a lot of science, but you're winning the tiebreaker on tied bids.
What if I don't believe in your science?
Well,
Too bad.
yeah, you
Peer
should.
believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Tim's card is special there. It's actually reversible. He currently has 4 culture, but if he turns upside down, now he's got 2 gold.
He's got a hybrid card, so he can choose which side it goes on. Most cards are a little bit more straightforward, like this one, where it'll just simply give him 7 population.
Simply the best.
There are others that have things like this one that gives you 3 culture plus a science per culture building, and that's retroactive. So as soon as you place it, every culture building that you've already placed in your city is going to proc that additional science, but every culture building you place after that continues to give you additional science for the rest of the game.
Nice.
Every card is retroactive, okay? Now, what happens if you lose your bid? Well, you automatically have to pay 1, okay? So you're going to lose 1 bid. So if you have 2 production and you look around and everybody has more production than you, don't just bid 1 production. You're going to lose your bid.
It's going away.
I wonder if this happened to somebody.
Don't do that, all right? Now, the other limitations is that you can only have 3 districts in your city, and that is just a group of buildings that are of the same color, because buildings have to be grouped by color. So say, for example, this was, it's only visible over here. If this is Tim's city, he's got a district of purple going, so he could potentially add this green one to it. Okay, if Tim had this one flipped over, he's got 3 districts now. So the only thing he can do is add to his gold district to the right or add to his green district to the left. Now you might be asking, well, Do I only have one row? Is that it? No. That is where, as you begin to build up more production, another action becomes available to you, and then is palace upgrades, okay? So one of the palace upgrades you can do is you can pay 5 production to get a second row in your city. So now Tim is able to build more cards on top of those cards, okay? So those cards cannot go wider than the base of his city. So he can't have a card that goes further left or further right than his first row. The other thing you can do with palace upgrades is this little thing here. If I pay 5 production, I get the very first palace upgrade option, which is 1 palace diamond anywhere in my city. Okay. So palace diamonds, if you look at the bottom left of each of the cards there's a little bit of info. You've got diamonds on them. If there is a diamond on the card and you add a diamond to it, you've now doubled the effect of that card. Tim just got 14 population out of that card. Again, it's retroactive, so he updates his board on his little green board there. All right. You can palace upgrades. The diamonds have to touch. So like this one would have to go over here or over there. Now he won't get an effect out of it if it doesn't have the diamond icon on it, but they still have to touch, and you're going to have to string those diamonds together before you can get multiple diamond cards that will actually get that benefit out of them. So sometimes you're building towards other cards.
And some of them he'll have a symbol that has 2 diamonds on it. And then you can double that again.
Yes, so you can double it, and then sometimes you can even triple the effect of that card, okay?
Good God.
There are some of them that just have science symbols here, and if you see science at the bottom of the card, it's going to combo, again, with every card that has a science symbol, and it's going to add up, okay? The other things that you can do with science is you can buy these sweet technologies here, okay? Because the goal of the game is we're trying to build a new palace for King Zarmund. His sucks. So he needs a new one. So we are competing to build the best palace for King Zarmund. He has 2 demands. Well, 3 demands for his new city. But one person must meet 2 of the demands to complete the game and finish, and it ends instantly. Okay. Thing about these is there's 15 different ones, and you only choose 3 each game. So they can be very different from game to game. There's also 21 technology cards, and you only use 5 of those each game, and those can be very different each game. So like, for example, here's one that is philosophy. When you reach 50 in any attribute, collect 3 culture gems and place them on a diamond without any on it. So as you are adding these cards to your city and your attributes start to go up, every time you hit a multiple of 10, you get a gem. So you add that to your stash. I could not grab just one. All right, so each one of these has special abilities. The green ones can allow you to hold more than 5 production. So maybe you can hold 10 production. The purple ones allow you to complete these demands cheaper. Maybe you only have to have, what was one of our demands here? Have at least 10 cards in your second row. Well, every culture diamond is 1 less card, so maybe you only have to do 4 of them. You take your little culture diamond, you put it on these, and that will help you get a discount towards those. As soon as somebody accomplishes 2 of those, they won, and the game ends instantly.
Instantly.
So, that's most of the rules. I don't necessarily have to go into all of them. For the most part, the basic action of picking either this stuff or bidding on the cards is very straightforward. As you start to get unique cards and buy technologies, then the game opens up quite a bit.
Yep. I'd also like to point out that when you get the other gems, you are limited to only 5 gold, I believe. Or not 5 gold. Production. You're limited to 5 production, and you need to get more gems in order to get more production, so you get better bids.
More gems.
Yeah.
More gems.
You are limited in your population as well, and so getting those gems helps you break things open.
Yeah. I mean, they all it looks like there's a lot going on, and there kind of is, but I found this game very easy to learn. So I'll just say that.
It
So
was,
if
yeah.
anybody was like, "Oh my God, that
That
was
seemed
a
like a
lot," like no, you start playing and it very naturally
clicks.
will start coming to you. I believe in my experience with this. So why don't we talk about some of the things that we find that we like or are unique about Gempire? Bobby, why don't you get us started?
So one of the things that I like to point out that I appreciate
My
is
finger
that
points.
my finger points, not just my finger pointing, but that they are different colors, yes, but there's also like a different icon per se, right? So like the little shield crest around there is shaped differently for each color, so it's easy to tell. But even with that, like without that, the purple is very different from, you said, what was that, green? Is very different from, but they're very different. I can tell they're apart. I might be able to tell you what color it is, but I can tell them
Sure.
apart, and that's the important part. So yeah, that was appreciated, right? And then even like the gems, they're shaped completely differently, so they're super easy to tell apart, like which one is which. So that is always something I look out for, and I appreciate that they are so different, and I can tell from across the table who's doing what. So that's great.
How about the cubes? Are they good?
But those are player colors. Ooh, are these different?
Yep.
Those are tough. I would have to be blue, or I would just like
it's-
I have a bunch of yellow cubes.
It's a
that I
prototype,
throw into
but-
games. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a prototype. But still, though, this like having them on here,
This is what's
I can see
important.
it from across the
Yeah.
table.
This is what's important.
Which one Spencer's building towards. So that's super helpful. Or like what's up for bids and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, that's appreciated.
Right on.
And even this, like the dry erase board is really nice. Like we write on it, and like sometimes like some dry erase boards, you go to erase it, and it still leaves like a black smudge
sure.
and makes it dingy and hard to read. But it wipes clear and clean, so that's nice.
Yeah, I like how everything is just recorded on this board, and the board itself
Is your
folds
screen.
up, so it also allows you
Yeah.
to hide
Hidden
what you're
information.
bidding. I
Right.
like that quite a bit.
Yep.
Spencer.
There's a lot that I like about this game.
Good talk, Mike.
One of the things with the bidding, you're reading your opponent as you're doing it, because I see this and I'm like, is he going to try to get the science past me? Because that is a tiebreaker. But do I instead want to bid? And if I bid, who's going to bid? And there's so many decisions that you're making right away and trying to fake out your opponents. There are also, he told us about this really cool move that someone made once, and this just lends itself to really cool moves like that, where they put diamonds down where they had a diamond already, but it can't take more than one diamond. He's like, why are you doing that? It only says one diamond, but one of the technologies allowed everyone that had a diamond to get a second diamond, and when he got it, suddenly all of them triggered. And by doing that,
It blew up his
he
whole
wasn't,
engine.
and he wasn't wasting where the diamonds went. And so this has there are things like that in this game that even the developer hasn't seen yet. And I like figuring those out.
Yeah, the combos really seem endless because with all of the demands being very different from each other, can get.
You're referring to Zarmund's demands?
Yes,
Okay, just
Zarmund's
checking.
demands. All of them, you create very different synergies with all of them, especially when you have 5 different technologies each game. You don't know which ones come out. So the combo that worked the last time we played this game may not work at all. It may not be useful to try to chase a whole bunch of science. Like one game, you may have it to where the demand will say you need to collect. You need to collect at least. There's one that says like at least 60 science or something like that. You have to hold on to your science, and then you're able to fulfill a demand that way. Another game, hanging on to science may do nothing for you, so you're just wasting all these turns collecting resources. But yeah, it's just really well done how much variability there is in what's really a pretty simple rule set. It makes every game feel very unique from each other, and I really like that the game actually comes with this tray because we didn't really go into it. But after the turn's over, then you just hand it to somebody else, and then they roll. It doesn't matter who rolls, but you still do it counterclockwise,
Yeah. First player.
so that everybody can kind of do that. But I just like that you can just roll them in the tray and then just hand it to the person to the left.
Or if you're Spencer, roll them in the
Right
tray,
off
and
the
then they go
tray.
shoot
Yep.
out of the tray and onto the floor.
Wait, you mean like on our first take?
Yeah, just like
Gotcha.
just like that.
So yeah, I really like how, like you said, how you're trying to figure out what other people are doing. Because if other people need a card that you need and they have more production than you better outbid them, or you better find another card to bid on because you're going to lose. And so that really forces you to make a challenging decision on, well, there's a card that I want here. It works for my engine, but I'm not going to get it if somebody else beats me or outbids me and they have more production than me. And you can see, because of the district limitations, you can see what cards people are going for. You can see how much production they have left. And all of that is really useful information when you're determining what action to take or whether to even bid on a card. Even though you may really need it, if you're going to lose the bid, you're wasting your time.
Right.
You grab up more resources and save up for the next turn.
The next one.
And that makes every turn very interesting to me.
Yeah, this game does a lot of things that I don't see in other games. That's always impressive. That's always interesting to me. Because anybody can reskin a Catan or a Dominion, right? And make that more interesting. But this actually has unique mechanics. The simultaneous bidding is very fun. I really like it. But you don't always have to bid. Sometimes it's like, I'm just
gather resources.
I'm just writing down what you think I'm bidding, but I'm actually just writing down the resources that I've just picked up, you know, and adding them. So I do like the that level of player interaction is also interesting, and it's doing it in a way that's not just screw your neighbor. It's actually like, no, we're competing against stuff, and
But in a constructive way.
Because we're constructing buildings.
Building buildings, exactly.
I love games with great iconography that's very clean. I feel like all of that is all in here, like designed very well and very clean. It's intuitive. The cards, you might need to ask a question once or twice on a card, but for the most part, all of the information is right there in front of you, and you know, and even on your player board, right? Like rules are.
There's some good information here too.
There's lots of information right there on the player board.
Very good.
We love player aids, and when it's built right into the player board, which you're going to be looking at every single turn because you need to write down your information. It's right there.
It's right here in front of you, not on a side panel that you can't see when you look at it.
So yeah,
And you're trying to keep a sum of your things on here, but of course, if you lose track, all your stuff is right here. You can sum it back up because it's not going to be a problem.
Keeps your running total for you.
It makes it much easier to keep that running total.
Yeah, and every card, even if it's a hybrid card or if it has extra text on it, they have card clarifications in the rulebook. There is even a glossary of every technology in the game, and there is a compendium of Zarmund's demands that explains every demand you'll run across. So I found everything very clearly explained in the book.
and that's really the bulk of the rule book is all the extra explanations and of all the cards and the details there.
Now, the shape of the book could be a little better.
It fits the shape of, the,
fits
box,
the shape of the box,
so we'll
so
let
that's fine.
that slide.
I guess. It's not overly huge.
Yeah, no.
it's fine.
Bob doesn't
It's
like
fine.
square
I
rule
don't-
books because they take up a lot of
They
space.
do. And I don't like big rule books, right?
not
Even if your
bad.
box is like this big, the rule book doesn't have to,
The good
Need
thing
the same
is,
size.
you don't need to have the rule book out on the table the whole time you're playing this.
No.
This game doesn't really require
No,
that.
once you get rolling and you understand how the hybrid cards work and how those techs work, it runs very smoothly. It plays very quickly. Also, not to mention, there's no downtime in this game. You are playing simultaneously
Everybody's turn,
the
everybody's
entire
playing.
game.
Yeah.
Everybody's selecting at the same time. Everybody's buying their cards. Well, the person that's grabbing their resources is doing that while the other people are adding up their
I
attributes.
don't know.
on
I gotta
their board.
wait for Spencer to like figure out how badly he's
Yeah.
beating me by sometimes.
No,
when
wait.
we
Did
play.
I just get 25 gold
Yeah.
or 50 gold?
I can't remember.
You do
Hold on.
you do run into that situation where like, well, I just got 10, I gotta do another thing, and that triggers this thing, and you're just like, ugh.
Here we go.
Oh no, I'm winning.
Here we go. But no, I mean, I'm very impressed, especially with this being his first game. Really well designed.
Seriously.
Clearly, he's put a lot of work into it. But it's a legit good game. It's very fun. Again, one of the things like Sam Stockton asked me when we were talking to people that were making new games and stuff at Origins, and he goes, "Well, what makes it different?" Well, like this game, almost everything makes it different.
Yeah.
There's
and
other than
sets it-
city building and bidding.
Yeah, other than like
There's
if
cards.
you boil down the theme to a very generic theme, that's everything
That's it.
else about this game is unique in the way that the mechanics are combined and applied and make sense and actually work really well together. We do like engine builders at this table. We're talking Race to the Galaxy over here. Mike sometimes likes engine builders.
Wingspan.
Yeah. and Forges of Ravenshire over here, right?
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. But yeah, so I would put this up there with really good, unique engine builders. And so I can't wait to see this come out to Kickstarter. This is a prototype, but if this was the finished game right now, as is, I'd be very happy
Fine.
with,
Yeah,
with what I
Gems are amazing.
with what I ended up with.
Those little containers are cool too, so hopefully they keep
And,
comes
and
with
having
these.
having these guys to help keep track of your production. Yeah.
So the production value is top notch. It's really good. I'd be interested to see what the final version looks like. But
I
this,
bet a wash on that would look super cool.
yeah, yeah, it would.
Yeah,
But-
really good components for sure.
Yep.
But all things that I care about, I think it's really good.
Yep.
Enjoyed quite a bit. Anything else, guys, we want to add before we?
Back this on September 26th. We like it.
I would say overall, yeah, this is a very strong recommend from
Yep.
all of us, right?
Oh, yeah,
Agreed.
definitely.
You know, this is a game that any one of us, had we come in cold, would have been very interested in backing, just on the design and the way that it plays. So
There's nothing like it.
nothing, absolutely nothing like it. So until we make Farman's demands in Slimpire,
Formons, Gempire.
yeah.
Hempire.
All right,
We'll get it in
guys.
post.
This is. I want to thank Paul. Thank you for giving us a chance to play your game, and I'm glad that we not only liked it but became friends with you, because it's awesome. You're a great dude. So everybody, please check this out. It's gonna be good. Don't sleep on it. You're gonna be like, you're gonna see this game being played at a con, and you're gonna be like, what is that? I'm like, dude.
Try to tell you.
We tried to tell you.
We tried to tell you.
All right, guys. For the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Spencer.
Mike.
Thanks for watching.